What is up, man? So, just browsing around, looking at some stuff, and I found some stuff that's pretty interesting. We're going to play this first, right? It's just a little short by Candace, and then we're going to play this shit that I have, what I have run across. And I find it kind of strange, but it explains a few things. People think Candace is crazy, probably ought to start rethinking it. But, anyways, let's play this.
Who put that picture away? That's what they want to know. So Charlie's last live appearance before he was assassinated was, from his home studio at least, was on September 8th. Here is that wedding photo behind him, which you can see. Then fast forward to December 12th, and as a part of her Shabbat Shalom PR blitz, she conducted her very first interview from Charlie's home office. She was playing the part, as you are about to see, of this is my first time back in his office. And yet, curiously, that wedding photo is missing.
I have not been in here for a very long time. And I've just been, that's part of the reason why I keep looking down. It's not because I'm not wanting to look at you. It's because like there are so many treasures in here.
If this really is your first time in his office, the first time looking down at his desk, who moved the frame behind his head? The internet's immediate reaction, they said, Erika removed it. But I would like to push back on that notion. I do not accept that option at all. That would be the exact opposite of the very intentional PR messaging that has come out of Turning Point USA since Charlie died. So that really only leaves us with one other option. And that
All right. So if you watch that, she read a letter, or not letter, but little notes that kind of stunned her. Right live, right when she was reading it, she was like, what? So this is what I found today. A judge has legally blocked Erika Kirk from using Charlie Kirk's name, which attracted media attention due to her emotional reaction in court. Why would a judge block her from using her husband's name in court? There's more to this. Now, it goes to say that somebody had made a video saying that he removed her from her will and all that. That you can't verify. What you can verify is that a judge has blocked her from using the name. So remember today, if you watched me live today, I asked, has anybody heard from Charlie's parents? Well, there's some stuff going on behind the scenes, evidently, because Charlie's parents is the ones, from what I understand, that motioned the courts to stop her from using his name. Now, when they were on one of their little shows that they did, she said something about the dates were confusing, right? We all know women don't lose track of dates. Men lose track of dates. So now, does that say that she's guilty of anything? No, but somebody thinks something. Somebody on that side is fighting back for something. There's got to be something. And, you know, when she says that he slept in the toddler's bed so he could get a good night's rest, like, I listened to Candace when she said that shit. And that, I mean, like, who sleeps in a youngin's bed to get a good night's rest? You've been gone for a couple days. And when you get home, you want to sleep in your bed. You don't want to sleep in the kid's bed. Bro, there's something going on here. There is definitely something going on. I'm not saying that she whacked him, but man, and the whole thing just looks sick to me, man. Who the hell sells tickets to a funeral, to an event like that? And they pulled off something that the world has never seen before. Even though she sounds like money, yeah, Tex. Even though she sounds like the voice of reason. Remember her mentioning Ryan? That was, yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, straight shooter. Nicole Arbor is a crazy bitch. That's why she mentioned him. Nicole was suing everybody. That doesn't have nothing to do with what's going on now. Just because somebody mentioned somebody, you get way off topic there, sweetheart. Let me see here. the archives vanished from YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So you couldn't even go back and check the shit. Washington converse surrounding claims made by claim alleges that Erika Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, ordered the removal of her late husband's show from major streaming platforms. Let us analyze the basics of the allegations and fact check it. That's fucking wild, man. That is wild. I wonder if this will take us to the main live that she done that day. It's not adding up, bro. It's not adding up.
Laura Loomer and Zionists. We are going to be right back after throwing into some of our sponsors. All right, you guys, you may have seen the conversation. And guess what, guys? Our toddler clues.
Piece of paper. He wrote on everything. He has papers everywhere.
He went into the
quick.
office.
Listen to what she says
and
right
by
here.
September 10th, midday about he was assassinated. We are told that following that tragic ending, Erika could not even or didn't want to move any of his items.
Listen, I'm genuinely curious if she was pregnant before her and Charlie got together and he just was going to assume the father position of that child. Because let's be honest, if you follow me, I've raised 2 kids that wasn't mine. No big deal, right? Took them in, raised them like they were mine. I never treat them no different. Some men are just willing to do that if they care enough about somebody. And Charlie just seemed to be that type of dude. He was open to that. He wasn't one of them dudes that wouldn't raise somebody's kid. You understand what I'm saying?
Items out of their
place
in their
that
bedroom,
anyway.
bathroom. That's what she told the New York Times a few days later when she welcomed them into that apartment, the one that you're seeing there. Well, then fast forward to December 12th, and as a part of her Shabbat Shalom PR blitz, she conducted her very first interview from Charlie's home office. She gave an interview to Glenn Beck. And during that interview, she was playing the part, as you are about to see, of this is my first time back in his office. And she keeps looking down and she says, sorry, I'm looking down. I'm just looking at all of these things that Charlie left over on his desk. The obvious insinuation to the public being that she had not yet traversed into that space. She had not gone through the things. She had not seen the last things that he wrote on the notepad. And yet, curiously, that wedding photo is missing. Okay, the internet was correct to call that out. Take a listen to what she tells Glenn Beck.
I'm actually sitting in his
what she says right
office. This is his home office, and I have not been in here for a very long time. And I've just been, that's part of the reason why I keep looking down. It's not because I'm not wanting to look at you. It's because like there are so many treasures in here. Like for instance, like this piece of paper, he wrote on everything. He has papers everywhere. This says, it's the priorities. It says family, children, legacy, kids, number 1. Versus careerism, consumerism, and loneliness. That's interesting. I don't know. I could spend hours at this desk, but my point is with little things like that is that he would sit here on Sundays writing, using his journal, like going through all these drawers, and he was preparing for the week ahead.
Oh shit, I lost her.
You hear her say that she had not been in there in a long time. So the internet was correct to spot that oddity. If this really is your first time in his office, the first time looking down at his desk,
Bro, if you get home late, or if you're up late, I think she said he was up at 3 o'clock in the morning and he had to be back up at 6 and he had just got home. Now, maybe he come home and they had fought about something, right? And he was done with it. He was just done with it. He's going to put his kids first and, loneliness. He would rather be alone, maybe, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't add up, man.
Who moved the frame behind his head? No person in their right mind would go into the home of a grieving widow and move a photo of her and her husband from their wedding day without explicit permission. So what actually happened?
Yeah, something's not right there.
We have a couple of options. Let's go through them. Option A,
and why
which
all the
I just want to
lies,
say is
bro?
my favorite option
Why all the
always.
lies that can be easily proven to be lies? That's my part, right? And it just doesn't make no sense.
Andrew Colvett went rogue. Andrew Colvett went rogue. He was over there. And the next thing you knew, he was fumbling and bumbling in the office. And he was like, and this wedding picture is coming with me for no reason. I might even tweet about it. He just can't help himself, Andrew Colvett. He's out of control. Just raging through Charlie's belongings. That's one of the options.
And who would Charlie talk to, right? He would talk to his parents. His parents would know what was going on. No wonder that they didn't make a public appearance. Why would they? Why would they go to an event that she's having if he was planning on leaving? Let that sink in for a minute. Instead of letting him leave.
Then there's an option B, which was the internet's immediate reaction. They said, Erika removed it. Why would she remove it? Erika is evil. Why would she do this thing? But I would like to push back on that notion. I do not accept that option at all.
To me, right?
I definitively do not believe that is what happened.
Why wouldn't his parents be involved with anything? That's one of the, there's quite a few things that would explain it, but that really would explain it. You know what I'm saying? Because Charlie wasn't happy and Charlie was wanting to move on and he just didn't know how to make it public because everything in her life was public. And, man, that'd be freaking wild, dude.
That would be the exact opposite of the very intentional PR messaging that has come out of Turning Point USA since Charlie died.
Bro, and they tried to say that senator or whoever had stopped and talked to that kid. Like they had conversations. We all watched it right here with me on Candace's stuff. Could that be why the senator was getting millions of dollars sent to that PO box? What the fuck is going on in the world, man?
At every waking moment, even when Charlie was lying in his casket, they were ever intentional. They wanted the public to recognize that Erika was Charlie's husband. Erika's husband was gone. Erika, Charlie, Erika. She even intentionally used phrases like "my Charlie" in her initial speech, which was written in large part by Blake Neff, by the way.
I'm told. Crazy.
Plus, in subsequent fundraising letters and emails, they wanted the public to know that it was "quote unquote" my Charlie, to remind them over and over again that's her husband. That's her husband. The intention was to lay, of course, the emotional groundwork for the sudden transfer of power. The idea being she's actually half of Charlie, so nobody should question anything. Charlie thought she was great, and you should think she's great. Nobody should be thinking or asking a question whether or not she's qualified to be the CEO and chairman. What's my point I'm making? No, Erika is not the person that moved that picture. In fact, it would be much more likely that Stacey Sheridan would have added that picture to the background. They would have said, okay, we're in his office. What are we going to do? Oh, let's put up some stuff behind to remind people.
Bro, and if they were getting a divorce and say that Erika was seeing somebody else or whatever and Charlie found out about it, that would explain why she didn't go to the hospital right away when she landed. She waited an hour at the airport on that other fucker. That would explain that. Because let me tell you, how many women out there, if their husband got murdered, would wait at the airport for somebody else to get there? Or would you go straight to the hospital and everybody else could just catch up and meet at the hospital? That doesn't make any sense.
That this is her Charlie and how happy they were and how in love they were. So that really only leaves us with one other option. And that option would be that Charlie himself
I don't know what it is. I ain't going to say she was involved in that, but
had to do this on the 9th, the day before his assassination. And what would have happened thereafter is Erika simply didn't realize it. It's actually, if you think about it, a rather minor detail, and they certainly would have been completely consumed with everything that was going on. They would not have been focusing on whether or not the background
Wow, that's
matched
crazy.
when she first sat down at that desk in the wake of his death. Not even.
And I mean, it's true that the courts did it. Hell, it's right there in black and white. It's definitely true. It was done on the 9th. We just read it. We just read the shit together.
The internet sleuths recognize it. We've been spending hours on this and we did not recognize it until now. About 6 months on, people are going, wait, this is a minor detail that feels kind of
bro.
fake.
And then, like, I watched a clip somebody had put up about her and Charlie talking about their dates and all. And she's like, well, the dates and all is just kind of confusing. No, it's not confusing unless you was already pregnant. And then that would explain why there's no pictures of her being pregnant, because she didn't want nobody guesstimating how far along she was. I think that this lady's been promiscuous the whole time. And then you go and you read this shit that she's telling this minor child, you know what I mean? Batting for the other team. And it's just weird, man. It's just weird.
Major. So here's that is the option that I think most likely happened. It was a genuine oversight. And guess what, guys? Our toddler clues with My Dog Blue are beginning to add up. Okay, let's start with that as our very first clue, which is, of course, Erika sitting at Charlie's desk without the wedding photo in the background. Okay, there's our clue right there. What could it mean? Let's keep going.
Children, family, children, legacy, and loneliness.
Certainly an odd redesign, but without more clues, we can't put together the picture. It's just not how this game works. But there are more clues. There's always more clues in every episode. Because then when we get into, we go backward and we pay attention to things that Erika told us.
You know how many people has told me, I was like, man, I don't know. Candace is on, that bitch is fucking crazy. She's just trying to stay relevant. I'm like, I don't know, man. The shit she's pointing out. And they just refuse to watch. They're not even paying attention to the shit that she's saying. And it's like, it's hard to dispute some of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like when Tucker verified about the planes following Erika around. Like, why would Egyptian planes be following that lady? There's got to be more to it.
We begin to re-examine what I now deem to be an objectively unintelligible story about how Charlie was so excited for the tour, despite the fact that he speaks at college campuses virtually every week. But he was so excited specifically for this event that he couldn't sleep, and also something about his daughter being in bed, and he had to go have a good night's sleep. I want you to listen to this now with new ears in retrospect. And if you see a clue, I want you guys to shout at the screen. Say, a clue, a clue. Let's listen.
She's such a smart
For him, that night, he was so excited. I mean, he just was like, I can't wait. It's going to be the best. And he got up
you ain't the only one
2:45,
feels like that.
3-ish.
There's a couple of them that I talk to
and our daughter
regularly
had woke
that
up
feel like
around that same
pretty
time.
smart fellows too, but
We live in a small space, so you can kind of hear when everyone's kind of shuffling around. And so she came to our room and she
you can
stayed
kind of hear when everybody's arguing. Yeah, shuffling around. You have to kind of read between the lines.
in our bed. And he always loved when Gigi slept in our bed because she's, little ones, they like curl up inside of you and like they're just nuzzled in. But you also know that it can be very acrobatic when a 3-year-old is in your bed and somehow their feet end up on your face. So I said, I want you to have a good night's sleep. Go ahead and sleep in her room. And I'll turn the air down so it's nice and cozy in there. And I just want you to get a good night's sleep so you can be amazing tomorrow. And so Gigi and I stayed in our room. And that morning he woke up super early and he came into our bedroom, into the bathroom, because that's where his wedding ring was and his necklace. And he came in and he grabbed that. And then he left. I didn't even get to give him a kiss goodbye.
Hey everyone, this is Jacob Hall, owner of Georgia Solar Pros. Here at Georgia Solar Pros,
Oh, what's that? In the chat, people are saying a clue. Did you guys see clues? Oh, okay. Well, let me revisit that. Let me actually reiterate what Erika is saying happened the night before, because it doesn't make any sense. She says Charlie was so excited, and then she quotes, he was like, I can't wait. It's going to be the best. End quote. It's a quotation from Charlie. I can't wait. It's going to be the best. Okay. Can I ask why? Why was UVU going to be the best? Has Charlie never been to UVU before? No, he has actually. He's been with me. I've done UVU with him. I honestly have done a lot of college events. I've never seen this level of excitement to go sit down with a bunch of teenagers, mostly who are.
So, Diamond, did you know that Erika had been court ordered not to use Charlie's name anymore?
Coddled by their parents and who are going to be shouting all sorts of questions like you. It was going to be the best. We already did it. Why was it going to be better? I feel offended. I thought we had a good experience up at UVU. Certainly wouldn't have described it as the best and wouldn't be on the brink of my seat looking to go back, itching to go back to UVU. So that's weird. I just would like to ask why. She then said,
and how many of you would miss your kid's memorial? If everything was on the up and up, how many of y'all would just not make an appearance, especially as big of a figure as Charlie Kirk was? And you know he was in good terms with his parents. I mean, it's not like they had a falling out and stuff. So why didn't they make an appearance? That would kind of explain it.
Says that Charlie woke up for a snack at 2:45 in the morning. And apparently he was so loud, the apartment's small, and maybe it was his excitement. He's like, yeah, UVU, yeah, I'm so excited. Who knows? Okay, we're not clear on that. But the implication is that's what woke up her 3-year-old daughter at 2:45 in the morning. That's not when toddlers at the age of 3 wake up, okay? These are sleep-trained toddlers, okay? Gigi wakes up at 2:45, 3-year-old kid who should be in the REM stage of sleep. Toddlers knock out. Maybe Gigi is a light sleeper. It's also just curious that they're all awake. It's 2:45 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what's going on. But the resolution, she's clear on. The resolution to this sort of pre-dawn fracas is that Gigi is going to sleep in Charlie's bed, and because she wanted him to be amazing and rested. Well, first off, you said it's 2:45, 3 a.m. I think, I feel like the train has already left the station in terms of being rested. I want to remind you guys, Charlie is then he has a flight scheduled to leave at 6:30 a.m. So if you're up at 3, we can already say goodbye to the idea of feeling amazing for the next day's flight, which is at 6:30 a.m. And if you were really able to power down that quickly and power back up, you probably want to do that in your own bed. Usually people, when they go overseas or even just sleep in a different bed other than their own, maybe they're in a hotel locally for a long time, you just can't wait to get back in your own bed. I think that's generally speaking, you're like, yes, I'm back in my own bed. And if I want a good night's sleep, I'm going to do that in my own bed, not.
Hold on, we'll go back to watching that in just a second. I want to watch this one right here.
Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no. We have the most amazing Turning Point USA family. They've rallied around myself, my children, and, chosen family is everything. And then, of course, we're blessed with our family.
Just so you guys know, this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night.
You miss most? How are his parents doing? Because his parents are private. We saw them for the first time at the funeral.
Yes, Charlie and my mom, Charlie's family's there. Everyone's hanging in there. We're doing the best to be expected. My mom and Charlie, they were best friends. I would always say that Charlie was her favorite.
Let's talk about something that's been bothering a lot of people, and I mean really bothering them. Erika Kirk keeps calling Turning Point USA her chosen family over and over again in every interview, every public appearance. Chosen family. But here's what people are asking.
I didn't understand how she could be smiling and be so happy during these interviews. I mean, everybody does grieve different, but that to me just was kind of out there.
Where are Charlie's parents in all of this? Because when you listen to Erika speak, she talks about herself. She talks about TPUSA, but her in-laws, Charlie's actual parents, radio silence. And to many people watching this unfold, that behavior feels abnormal. It's not just observers who feel this way either. Word is, Charlie's parents feel the exact same discomfort. Now, new reports are coming out, and they're saying something pretty disturbing. Charlie's parents, Catherine and Robert Kirk, are allegedly deeply upset. And why wouldn't they be? Because the allegations being discussed right now are that Erika and Turning Point USA have profited from Charlie's death.
They did profit. They profited a shit ton, over $100 million. That's a lot. That's fuck you money.
Not talking about small numbers here. We're talking about $90 million. That's the figure being thrown around. But Candace Owens, she's claiming it's actually much higher than that. Some reports say TPUSA made up to $140 million in just 3 months. 3 months? And who's running the organization during this period? Erika. She's the CEO now.
Hey, check this out. Erika Francev, 2019. And Yair Netanyahu. Shabbat Shalom.
So naturally, people are starting to dig. And when they dig into Erika's past, old information is starting to resurface. Information that was always there, but maybe didn't get the attention it deserved. You've probably heard about the honeypot theory. It used to sound conspiratorial, fringe even. But critics are saying that now it's starting to feel a lot more plausible. But let's get back to Charlie's parents, because this is where things get really uncomfortable. Erika has
shit is wild, man.
Reportedly ignored them repeatedly. And we're not just talking about avoidance anymore. People are saying this has escalated into open disrespect. Meanwhile, what is Erika doing? She's actively promoting Charlie Kirk's new book. She's on a nonstop media tour, interview after interview, promo appearance after promo appearance. And the focus?
Who's taking care of these kids right now while she's doing this? You would think that mom would be home with the babies. They just lost their daddy, right? That's what you would think.
Entirely on her image, on TPUSA's image. Think
He's
about
in the
that
moment.
for a second.
That don't
Charlie's
look right.
parents experienced the same devastating loss, the exact same loss. So where are the updates about them? How are they doing? What about Charlie's sister? Nothing. For 3 months, it's been entirely about Erika. And this is exactly why people are now criticizing her publicly, because to many, it feels like she's rewriting the narrative, erasing the people who knew Charlie longest. Let me give you a specific example. Erika appeared on Fox and Friends recently, and the host did something interesting. They asked about Charlie's parents. They also asked about her own mother. Watch how Erika responds. She barely acknowledges Charlie's parents, barely. And then she quickly shifts the conversation to her mom. She claims Charlie was her mom's favorite child. Then she starts talking about Sabbath dinners at her mom's house.
What do you miss most? How are his parents doing? Because his parents are private. We saw them for the first time at the funeral.
Yes.
You did such a beautiful job there. How are all of y'all doing? You talk a little bit about the kids, but how's your mom doing? I mean, I know she's devastated for you.
My mom is Charlie and my mom. Well, Charlie's family's there. Everyone's hanging in there. We're doing the best to be expected. My mom and Charlie, they were best friends. I would always say that Charlie was her favorite child. But the thing that was so special about our Sabbath dinners was that it wasn't about religious protocol.
Critics are pointing out that this feels intentional, like she deliberately avoided talking about Charlie's parents. And here's what's really telling: the language she used. She didn't call them my in-laws. She didn't say Charlie's parents are doing as well as can be expected. She glossed over them entirely. She gave the impression that she doesn't even speak to them. Now, remember the memorial service? Charlie's parents didn't attend, and that memorial had pyrotechnics. It had a
and I hate to say that, right? Because I mean, let's face it, her husband is gone. But if they were going to split and all this shit happen, what's the chances of it being the perfect timing?
public spectacle, and it had something else too. Erika publicly forgave the alleged shooter at the memorial in her speech, but she didn't mention Charlie's parents once. Let that sink in for a moment. She felt entitled to publicly forgive the person accused of taking her husband's life. But what if Charlie's parents didn't agree with that decision? What if they weren't ready for that? And let's be honest, there are still so many unanswered questions about what actually happened, about the assassination itself. Yet Erika forgave the shooter just days after the incident. Critics keep saying the same thing. Something feels off. There's footage from the Medal of Freedom ceremony. Have you seen it? Because the optics are striking. Erika is standing far from Charlie's parents. She's positioned with political figures instead, and people are asking,
Yeah, see, that's something else too. I would be right if something happened to Amanda, I'd be right there with her mama. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be standing next to people I hardly knew. Come on, man.
why? Why wasn't she standing with her in-laws during one of the most significant moments honoring their son? Charlie was married to Erika for only a few years, but he was their son his entire life. And many people believe that medal should have been presented to them, not her. But the erasure doesn't stop there. Erika rarely mentions Charlie's parents unless someone directly asks about them.
How you doing? How are the kids?
Doing the best you could expect. God is good, and we have the most amazing Turning Point USA family. They've rallied around myself, my children, and, chosen family is everything. And then, of course, we're blessed with our family itself. But
she speaks highly of Charlie's legacy, sure. She talks about his impact, his work, but she never acknowledges the people who raised him, the people who shaped him into who he became. Instead, she keeps going back to the same line, TPUSA is my family. Now, here's where things get even messier, because there are claims about what was happening at TPUSA before Charlie died. Allegedly, Charlie discovered something, internal betrayal. He supposedly ordered an internal audit of the organization, and according to these allegations, he uncovered shady financial activity. A former TPUSA employee has come forward confirming these concerns. They're talking about questionable stock market investments. They're claiming that some insiders were actively working against Charlie.
My name is Joshua Peterson. I worked for Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith, and I knew Charlie Kirk personally. I want to say on the record that there was a inner circle at Turning Point USA that was constantly working against Charlie and his interests and what he wanted to do, as well as there was a Jewish influence in Turning Point that he was not very fond of, that he wanted to get rid of. He tried doing this. He tried creating a Doge department, and he got... Another thing that makes me believe this inner circle was constantly working against Charlie was the stock market branch. Now, the thing about this branch is it's been getting millions of dollars poured into it over the past 4 years now, and that's been seen through their latest tax returns. This stock market group that Turning Point has been throwing millions of dollars into the stock market for the past 4 years now, and Charlie Kirk had no knowledge of that whatsoever.
What?
Make it make sense. That sounds like money laundering to me. It sounds like there's some pyramid scheme going on behind the scenes at Turning Point that Charlie did not know about originally.
So when you look at the money situation now, it raises even more questions. Remember when Erika publicly criticized Candace Owens for her YouTube earnings? She went after Candace for making money.
come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
But meanwhile, TPUSA allegedly made $140 million in 3 months. Critics are calling this textbook hypocrisy. And Candace, she responded. She presented receipts, and she made a direct claim that TPUSA profited the most from Charlie's death. But Erika keeps repeating that phrase, TPUSA is my family, over and over. And critics believe this is a calculated guilt tactic. Because if TPUSA is family, then anyone questioning the organization must be cruel, right? They must be attacking a grieving widow.
Sorry, but that whole thing right there is frustrating. And I'm going to explain to you why I just do not accept any of that. First and foremost, the idea that she does not have time. Now, okay, to that point that people are making hundreds and thousands of dollars, I just don't get how there's not someone on this very large PR team, as we're seeing these PR campaigns go, that doesn't go, hey, maybe we should strike that. They made $40 million like 2 nights ago at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe that feels kind of a little bit like let them eat cake-ish. Oh, and we've made more than, separately from Mar-a-Lago, Turning Point USA says Charlie was killed, just so you guys know this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night. So since Charlie has died, that organization has taken in $140 million.
Candace Owens directly addressed this strategy. She highlighted the contradiction. Erika attacks people for making money, while TPUSA pulls in record-breaking amounts. And speaking of money, let's talk about the Mar-a-Lago fundraiser. Erika hosted a private event, $10,000 per plate. This was happening amid all those nonstop interviews we mentioned. And the goal? Raise even more money for TPUSA. People are asking, why? Why do you need more funds? The organization already made over $100 million in just a few months. What exactly requires this kind of aggressive fundraising? Glenn Beck attended the event and posted about it. He said nearly 1,000 people showed up to the dinner. He claimed TPUSA has big projects coming in 2026. But here's what's interesting. TPUSA's podcasts, they've dropped to number 94 on Apple Podcasts. They used to be ranked in the top 10. The public trust appears to be collapsing in real time. So let's step back and look at the bigger picture, because the questions people are asking now go deeper than just grief or family dynamics. Why is Erika pushing this narrative so aggressively? Why does she seem so focused on silencing questions about the assassination itself? Is this really all about money and control? And those honeypot rumors we mentioned earlier? Some critics are now wondering if they were partially true all along. There's a growing belief that this behavior serves interests beyond just TPUSA, beyond just Erika.
Crazy,
because when
man.
you line up everything we've discussed, when you look at the pattern of behavior, the financial windfall, the erasure of Charlie's parents, the aggressive
Now, left-handed spoon, let me tell you, her parents, I just read the thing on here. Her parents have blocked her from using Charlie's name. There's something definitely going on.
media campaign, the defensive posturing, a lot of people are coming to the same conclusion. Nothing about this
I mean, the court just don't order you to stop using your husband's name for money for no reason at all. So there's got to be a reason behind it.
accidental. And that's what makes this whole situation so deeply unsettling.
Kind of wild, man. I was trying to find it again. And why did she order all the old podcasts removed? That doesn't make any sense. Why would she do that? You would think that, she'd want to keep her husband's podcast up, not have them all removed.
I'm going to assume that bed is not the same size.
She's out
as the
asking for
size
money,
of
but
their
she's
bed.
going to take all Charlie's
Erika,
stuff down. That actually
Whatever,
made her
feels
money.
like it's an opportunity for him to feel amazing at 3 a.m. and to go into.
I guess if you Google it and it says it in Google, during fact check, if you call that being evidence too low, I guess you're right. But I mean, hey, who am I? All I can do is just read what, it's put out there.
Gigi's bed. That's the best place to do that, or Gigi's room. Okay. While
saying
Gigi
that
sleeps
she whacked
in her
the
mother's
dude.
bed. Just
I'm
little
saying
swapsies there
something's
at
not
3 a.m. in the
right.
morning, totally casual. I'm starting to get a feeling that there might have been another reason that the daughter woke up, but stick with me.
Yeah,
Maybe
I know a lot of people are looking for
there's
dirt though, don't they?
noise, not from excitement, but maybe
It's
an
like,
argument.
I fucking knew it.
Maybe there was an argument. That would make more sense to me, especially when we add in how she concludes that portion by telling us that Charlie took off his wedding ring during that same night, which is why he, of course, then had to put it back on.
Yeah, I
next
didn't
morning.
understand why she forgave the dude either. Because damn, if I would, I'd want to see that son of a bitch burn in fucking hell. You know what I mean? Somebody do something to my wife. I ain't getting on public stage and saying I forgive you. I'll be like, y'all burn them. Y'all beat the shit out of him every night.
And Erika says that he snuck in the next morning to put that wedding band on. I immediately clocked that. Even when that interview was live, I said, that's weird, just because I know Charlie, but I couldn't explain that to the audience. I know Charlie. Charlie's the kind of person who could sleep with his boots on. Like this little ring. I don't know virtually any men. Truly, I don't know any. But obviously I'm assuming there are. Maybe you've got a funky little band and maybe your hand's swollen with summer. I don't know, that like meticulously take that little band off. Charlie doesn't strike me as the type of person who would do that. I said that seems a little off. I also want to add this little tidbit. Erika is, as you're going to see, exceedingly uncomfortable discussing Charlie's final day. Fox News had to use a lot of cuts. A lot of, now that I'm telling you that and you watch, you're going to go, oh yeah, they're cutting and kind of like putting her answer in a different place, very obviously and poorly edited out entire portions when Jesse asks her a fairly simple question. Tell me about the day before the shooting. That would be Charlie's last full day on Earth. Take a listen to how she responds to that.
Tell me about the day before the shooting.
He was at the office and we were going to meet for dinner beforehand with a dear friend of ours who I wanted to just be with us and pray with us before the event. It's no hidden secret that stuff on campus is heating up. You see people on campus coming on with guns prior to the event that happened with Charlie, the assassination with Charlie. And so I know that, you and I even talked about how I used to say, Charlie, have you ever thought about wearing a vest?
Hey, and why did she just start back posting like a day or two before Charlie got gone?
He would nod to that and be like, I've looked into it. But he would always say, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. He wasn't afraid. Wouldn't have mattered anyways if he wore a vest.
Erika's mom was dealing with a medical issue, so she stayed in Phoenix to care for her. She planned to join Charlie at the next scheduled Turning Point event at Colorado State just a few days later.
He was like, home needs you. Home needs you. Be home. Come with me on Thursday to the next event we have.
Hi, I'm Wade from Thoroughbred Diesel, and in our almost 25 years of service, we've seen a lot. We've seen.
They just didn't. She doesn't want to address that. I've looked everywhere. I would like to know more about Charlie's last day. I can obviously put together what Frank said. I can put together what his schedule was, but that's not a question that she's comfortable answering. And by the way, that dear friend she's referencing, of course, we now know is a priest that came over to pray over Charlie and Erika's marriage the night before, is what I am told. Not Charlie being stressed over an article written by a leftist, which happens every 10 seconds in our world. I'm told. Let's now try to put these clues together, just to recap. Okay, clue number one, Charlie did not sleep in his own bed despite returning from a long trip to Asia. Number two, Charlie's wedding ring was taken off. Number three, Charlie removed, I think I'm saying this, I'll say allegedly, sure. I think it was Charlie who removed his wedding photo from his home set. I think that's where he went into his office.
Hey, Rusty, have you seen the little video thing that she had filmed? And how weird is it that everybody that's in there's name damn near matches the people that was around when this happened? I'll have to try to find that video and play it. It's not very good.
For a bit. Number four, a priest came over to pray the night before. Again, when I take out my handy dandy notebook and I put a picture together using basic logic and not trying to look at all of these different directions and all of these possibilities, I know there's that one kid in the back of the class and you say, well, what do these clues tell you? And he raises his hand and he says, it tells me that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie. He acted alone on top of a rooftop. But that kid would be an idiot, actually. That could be an idiot because the picture that is starting to emerge is that Charlie's last day consisted of a lot of arguments, okay? Arguments over his shifting away from the pro-Israel position, him communicating to people that he was over it, that he did not want the money, him communicating to people that he wanted to bring me back, to AmFest. He was very clear in telling people that on the 9th, the day before he died.
So she played, Erika Kirk played an assassin in a movie, and social media users are shocked.
And when I
You
look
watch
at
it, it's
the fact
fucking
that
weird,
Charlie
dude. It's weird. I'm trying to
or Erica's
find
not able to account for what happened the night before, and she's kind of cagey and answering, and she's giving us more about how Gigi sleeps and moves in bed than she is about what Charlie was doing, other than getting a snack. I feel, and I could be wrong, that there was a knock 'em dead argument that happened. That's what makes logical sense to me. About what I don't know, that's what makes sense. Because they have not been honest in their portrayal about what the relationship was. And I will leave it at that. This like idea of this amazing godly relationship with that is not accurate. And it would not have been relevant if Erika had kept it honest throughout this entire process. But she's not. She's getting caught in a lot of lies. And when I go back and I revisit the way she tells the lies,
they were on the rock.
I feel very strange about it. I feel weird watching these clips back. And I want you to see that. Lastly, I want to bring the Glenn Beck interview back up, because hindsight, like I said, is 2020. And I want you to pay attention to how she lies. Now that we know this is a lie, it's crazy to watch how performative she is in trying to deliver the lie so that it's believable to the masses. Remember, Charlie messaged multiple people saying that he thought they were going to kill him the night before. I feel like it wasn't just a snack that he wanted. I think there was some anxiety. He discovered something and things weren't good. I don't think it was a peaceful night's sleep the night before. Well, Erika, at this moment when she is about giving this interview to Glenn Beck, remember this was the PR blitz, she's shutting that rumor down before she realizes that I know more information. Watch how she sells this lie. Take a listen.
I know the tour, that was the first stop of the tour. And I know you two had met with your priest the night before. And do you think Charlie knew to some degree and had made the conscious choice that I may be taken out early, not saying he knew that day, but that he had any inkling that this might come his way and that he intentionally chose to move forward with faith in God?
It's interesting because I have unbelievable amounts of death threats. My kids have kidnapping threats, death threats. Our whole team has death threats. We knew that there was always going to be a threat, but Charlie and I we promised each other we would never live in fear. And he would say, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. But he was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me. He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone. Didn't say that. And so what I do know is that we believe in the power of prayer. And what I do know is that we believe in our sovereign God.
Right this second.
And what I do know,
I haven't seen it on this dude's show or whatever. I don't know who this guy is, but we'll see what's
It's about nanotechnology, taking memories out of people's brains and replacing them. Apparently at this time, she was saying that she wasn't dating anyone, but apparently she dated one of the actors on set as well. She's not in this trailer, but she did post this picture of her with this gun from the movie on her Instagram.
But as far as concept goes, we really developed it around a number of questions that we were asking ourselves. Now, these questions range from anything from how can we manipulate someone's senses enough so that they believe a false reality, when in reality, something else is going on entirely? Or even how can someone like the class geek pirate and...
Hey, and the dude that she killed, I think his name was Charlie. It's just this weird as shit.
steal, say, the varsity quarterback's, knowledge and skill set? Or even more so, how can the knowledge and skill set of a Navy SEAL be copied and, transferred to somebody else? And this concept became possible when we really pushed the boundary on what's called nanotechnology. And that's tiny little microscopic machines that carry out their function on an atomic level.
Absolutely wild. Let me know what y'all think about this.
That didn't really show it. That was a waste of time. Sorry.
Oh, is that night before, we did what we usually did before tours. We said our prayer and we asked the Lord to protect us. And we asked the Lord that his will be done.
And we fought like hell.
That's what we did.
All I'm saying is it hits different in retrospect. She's selling that. I have his phone. He never said it. It was chill. Everyone was chilling. Me, the priest, Charlie wasn't going Catholic, but we just like the chill priest. Everyone was chilling. It was great. And I have his phone. So, haters, wrong.
This bitch is such
That's
a
acting.
smart ass.
That is acting. And then we're told, it's because he had messaging app. Not true. Dan Flood messaged it on iMessage. So who deleted it? If it wasn't Erika, maybe she really is being taken by a ride by everyone around her. But the messaging has been that's not possible. Remember? That's simply not possible. There's no way that any CEO could be surrounded by snakes. But if she is being taken by a ride, she would by now be very aware of that. So I don't really excuse that. Did somebody else delete the messages?
I don't know if she knew it was going to happen, but
I don't know. I think it's very strange that she was even allowed to have the phone back so quickly or at all. I don't think they ever.
Hey, then again, we didn't think people in fucking our government were eating kids either, did we?
Even seized the phone, if I remember correctly. But I would sure be interested in finding out what's in that telephone. So your move, Laura Loomer and Zionists. We are going to be right back after throwing it to some of our sponsors. All right, you guys, you may have seen the conversations happening online lately.
You know what? At this point, I don't put nothing past no fucking body. I wouldn't put nothing past nobody.
President Trump's when he travels. I feel like he just does that because you got to imagine being Bibi Netanyahu, right? He can do whatever he wants and nobody will check him. Like he goes around telling presidents what they're going to do, how many people have to die, who he's going to assassinate, and people just take it. And so it must be so boring for him. And in order for him to feel any pleasure, he must only derive it from other people's pain. You know what I mean? There's something sadistic about the entire thing, watching what he's doing to Trump pulling out his chair, giving him this huge motorcade to come in, helicopter above. Nobody comes in like this. That's how Bibi Netanyahu comes in. And Trump, if you would think that he could be like, okay, I'm going to defend speech in America. That's it. This is the last relic of what MAGA is. And he's doing the exact opposite. And so President Donald Trump has this White House Religious Liberty Commission. And of course, they were doing a hearing on anti-Semitism because that's what's happening. That's the only thing that could be happening. It's not like, the mass murder of hundreds of thousands of children that people are upset about. It's just because the Jews are doing it, if you believe them. And Carrie Prejean Bowler stood up and she said, this is unacceptable. This hearing is unacceptable. And I'm not okay with any of this. And what is the actual definition of anti-Semitism? Because it just seems like it's everything these days. And in case you need to rewind, you should go back and watch. She made a lot of amazing remarks. But here is effectively what she said, I think on behalf of all of us, regarding why everything seems to be anti-Semitism, even when it so clearly is not. And really what is happening is we're being forced to support the state of Israel's demonic goals. Take a listen.
So, just to be clear, is anti-Zionism anti-Semitism?
Yes.
It is under IHRA?
Rabbi, sure.
You're up next. You're not sure?
Definition,
so what is the definition?
I would love to speak to that. Undoubtedly, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. And undoubtedly, and one does not have to support the specific policies of the government of Israel, but to not support the right of Israel to exist, which is what anti-Zionists do, while not taking that same stand to the 28 Muslim countries and 13 Christian countries in this world, is a double standard, is hypocrisy, and is absolutely anti-Semitism.
I think it's also important that we not...
Hey, I believe they got a right to be their own nation or whatever, but I also believe that they have a right to stand on their fucking own and our money not go to them. If you're your own government, support your fucking self. Quit making the American people do it. We should not be sending any other fucking country money. We need to be wrapping up and taking care of the fucking problems at home before we worry about somebody else's shit. And if that makes you a racist or whatever, then I'm fucking racist.
Not make Islamophobic remarks while we're here today. I would appreciate that.
I just want to say,
this is a religious liberty.
God forbid, was anything like that said.
That are in the military go to the fucking VA to try to get help, and they're out in the parking lot talking about offing herself because they can't get the fucking medical assistance they need. But yet they'll send all this money to these fucks over there. That shit pisses me off to no fucking end.
But if the Jewish people are the only people that you deny the right to have its own state, that is absolutely a double standard, hypocrisy, and anti-Semitism.
Well, as you know, I'm a Catholic.
Probably not.
I'm a Catholic,
I mean,
and Catholics do
probably
not
not.
embrace Zionism, just so you
Hell,
know.
look how long this shit's went on with Epstein for fucking over 20 something years, and they didn't want to investigate that. If it wasn't for the people pushing for it, they never would have.
So are all Catholics anti-Semites, according to you?
As I said, anti-Zionism, by denying the right of the Jews to have their own state while not.
Yeah, you know what, Jay? And listen, I get that they're trying to get the terrorists and shit over there in Gaza and all that, but you would think that they would have a little bit of the fucking conscience for the kids. You know, you see the videos of them spitting on fucking Christians and shit, but they want our money. But if you go over there, they'll spit on you because you're a Christian. You don't believe the way that they believe.
Not saying the same.
Oh,
for
yeah,
any
yeah, I'm
other
sure of that,
peoples.
Rusty. I'm
That
sure
is
of
a
that.
double standard, hypocrisy, and anti-Semitism.
So just
You
don't
just
want to
you,
believe that shit,
building
right?
your app on Base 44.
So this is just a very bad talking point. And I used to say this when I was under the Zionist demonic spell. This idea that why can't they have their own state? Do you know that that's actually not an inherent right? You actually don't have a right
We're just
to say that.
Social Security number. And let me tell you, if they fuck you over in the IRS, it's oops, our bad. If you fuck the IRS over, they're coming to fucking get you. And they're going to fucking get whatever they can take from you.
I have a political philosophy, and it's called Zionism. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that it's a race of people have a right to mass murder people who have been on this land for thousands of years, to take it, to hostilely take over their homes, not pay them. We're just going to murder you, take your home at gunpoint because Jews, of which many are Zionists, well, we don't have any other countries to ourselves. Having a country to yourself is actually not a human right. A human right is, having access to drinking water, being able to live in a home that is yours without having somebody forcefully take it at gunpoint and murder your offspring. And what they're basically saying is they're allowed to violate human rights because they've established a new one, that they have a right to a state. That's it. So what I'm going to do, I love this. I love what you're doing. I love it. I think it's great. I'm going to just start my own religion. And it's going to be called Candacism. And what it means is that anybody who is a Candicist, if you deny the right for us to exist, we want all of Israel. We want it all. And if you, I'm sorry, well, why do Muslims have their own state? Why do Christians have their own state? We don't. You're just saying this is a Muslim majority country and this is a Christian majority country. And you're saying that means we have our own state. We actually don't. You're surviving off of welfare. You can't defend yourself. You're literally a welfare state in the Middle East that also is filled with a bunch of mass murderers. It's being run by the Likud party. And effectively what that is just a team of mass murderers. That's what's happening. And you're trying to now put this into the Bible, that you have a right to do this, that you have a right to kill and slaughter children and rape people, which they've been caught doing on camera. And no one can say anything because talking point. So good for Carrie to deny that, because you actually do not have a right to your own state. That's just made up. You've just been saying it and brainwashing people to believe that that's a thing. You couldn't just get a bunch of Scientologists to get up and say, oh, well, why can't Scientologists have their own state? Why can't we just take over all of America? It's not a thing. It's actually not a thing, because Judaism is a faith. And you do not just get the right to take what has never been yours, which you've never proven is yours. In fact, the exact opposite. What you've proven is that you're from Turkey somewhere, and then you just deleted your books because you're constantly reprinting history. And that's the true reason that you hate the Catholic Church. Because the Catholic Church remembers America was a young country. You came in here, you controlled the textbooks that were being written, like Robert Maxwell, put us all through effectively a brainwashing program at the public schools, throughout the public school system, and taught us nothing about history, just Holocaust, Hollywood spin on the Holocaust. Let's not talk about what the Bolsheviks did, because we're the descendants of them in the Middle East, and we're just going to now give ourselves names that sound Hebrew, and we're going to learn Hebrew, as you did. And no one can ask any further questions. Well, we have further questions now. Our people are waking up. They're learning true history. You can only twist the fabric of reality for so long before it snaps back. And it seems to be snapping back for you guys pretty aggressively at this moment. And so what they did, because Carrie said, yeah, no, you just can't mass murder kids. And I don't care how you try to spin it, it doesn't work for me. What they did was they went ahead and they fired her because, they have no power. They're powerless. They've been powerless since the Holocaust. But then say Christ is king, or say, no, I don't worship Israel. And you're going to find out real quick how much power they have as they try to smear you, impact how much money you can make, and get you kicked out for being principled and having actually, biblical morals fashioned by the Bible. Thou shalt not kill, which I think true Jews would be like, yeah, that's right. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Grizz, why do you think
that Carrie?
Why do you think that it takes both parents to fucking work now? Because we're supporting all these other motherfuckers. Well, our families suffer over here. Barely get by. Live week to fucking week. Yeah. Imagine if we didn't have to take care of all these fuckers. We could get back to the way it was in the 70s and the 80s when just dad worked and mom stayed home and raised the kids. They wasn't raised by fucking video games. Fuck that video game. I never was a big video game player. I never was. I seen it as a time stealer. Even back then as a kid, I wasn't. I was like, fuck that. I'd rather be out riding my horse.
Got fired. A Star is Born. Carrie Pre-Jean Baller got fired, and it was announced on X after Zionists demanded she be removed.
Fucking
the opposite thing will now happen. She would do than ever. And people will abandon principles of you need to worship Israel.
I get that people play them and stuff. Hey, and good for them if that's what they do in their pastime. But I don't think you should use them to babysit kids.
Which in large part
Nothing
was
wrong with
the
that.
Catholic Church started by the CIA, and find true faith. Here's
Oh,
how
you
Dan
talking
Patrick
about
announced it
table
on
games.
X, by the way.
most definitely.
Carrie Preaching Baller has been removed from President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission. Like, nobody actually cares. It's not 2015. It isn't cool to be MAGA, because that's what it is. Make Israel great again. MAGA's dead. MAGA is in office. We get it. He continues, no member of the commission has the right to hijack a hearing for their own personal and political agenda on any issue. This is clearly without question what happened on Monday in our hearing on anti-Semitism in America. This was my decision. Yeah, no, you're taking a ton of money from Zionists. Can you just own that, Dan? Do something decent, Dan. Own the fact that you, like everybody else, is just outright purchased. You're outright purchased by Israel. The commission has done outstanding work through 5 hearings. 2 more are scheduled. The testimony has been both illuminating and heartbreaking. Under the Biden administration, Americans of all faiths had their religious liberty not only stolen from them, but were often punished for standing up for their faith in education, the military, the private sector, and even the ministry. And so in conclusion, what we're going to do is we're going to punish Carrie Pre-Jean Baller for her faith, being a Catholic and Orthodox.
Yeah, I mean, if you retired and shit, do as you want. But, what the old saying is if you don't move it, you lose it. Sitting there playing video games is a quick way to deteriorate as you get older.
Beware. Okay. Beware. Because as we find our footing in America for the very first time, and people learn true history and understand what actually happened and learn what the Bolsheviks did, when people learn what was done to the Romanov family, learn that these people have a bloodlust like you wouldn't believe, and recognize what I said yesterday, those chickens will come home to roost. You stand by evil, you better not be shocked when it comes back to hunt you. Damn right. And sadly, I wish that Charlie Kirk had listened to me, because I warned him. And he did. He started pivoting, I would say a year. We started a year before he passed. We started talking about the Catholic faith, the issues with Zionism. I have many text messages to that effect. By then, I think it was too late. You can't go halfway with evil. There's no halfway with Satan. Satan's an orphan. He is selfish. And he always come to collect. And that's what I would like to say about that. I also want to give you guys a quick update, because this was hilarious to me. I got in a few people reached out to me that were a part of the Super Bowl halftime show with Turning Point USA, which I told you is embarrassing for Republicans because now we're just pretending like we have an audience. We're pretending that we are well liked. The party is doing the right. It's falling apart. Obviously, the Republican Party is very clearly falling apart, and they're not acknowledging that reality. And the Super Bowl example was exactly that. Fake it till you make it. We'll pay influencers. We have money. We are now running Hillary Clinton's campaign, and we're too big to fail. Well, that's how you end up with people crying on the ground when Hillary Clinton lost, because they just weren't paying attention to how people all across America felt, the populist movement that was rising. This is happening right now in the Republican Party.
I'm trying, man.
Zionists is taking over. They're telling them they're too big to fill. They're filling their ears.
I've never looked into politics until here recently, and I'm trying to find my way, right? And a lot of people don't have the nerve to say that because everybody wants to pretend that they're the most smartest motherfucker in the room. I'm very rough around the edges, but I'm starting to figure it out, man. I'm starting, or I want to believe that I am anyway.
Throwing money at them, and the reality is people aren't with it anymore. But the audacity to just keep up that performance, it's like Hillary Clinton. I've got Jay-Z, and I've got Beyonce.
Speaking of Jay-Z, he sure has fucking flew the coop, ain't he?
The audacity to claim that the Super Bowl, the alternative Super Bowl, was a success. It should upset you. It's such a lie. It's just such an objective lie. And it's not necessary. It's okay to fail and you pivot. Well, here's the reality of how this happens. The person said, first and foremost, this was filmed, which we have already told you, and they've said 2 weeks ago, or weeks leading up to it, in Fayetteville, Georgia. There were actually only to make it look like it was really filled. They were just moved around the room to make it look more full. And they had to do about 3 to 5 takes each on every song, except for Gabby. They said she got it done in 2. They had no idea what they were signing up for. The majority of the people didn't even agree once they got there and were told with doing a split halftime show. A lot of them actually liked Bad Bunny. Is it Bad Bunny? Sorry. Yeah, Bad Bunny. I thought I said something else. It was over 2 days of filming, Monday and a Tuesday, and they were kind of shocked that Erika was not present at all for that filming.
I seen all them. Rusty, you're not bullshitting, man. I seen all them old people. One motherfucker had a plastic jug over his head. I was like, what? People riding down the road with fucking masks on with nobody in the car. I'm like, who's in there with you that you need a fucking mask on?
Did not meet her. They felt like it was very weird. And they also thought that it was going to be a bigger artist because they were told that they were going to contend with the
Unc did his own stupid shit too, though, right? During COVID. And I've told y'all this before. What's up, Osman? I couldn't find any hand sanitizer. So what's Unc do? Hey, I'll buy a bottle of 151. Fuck it. I'll make sure. Because, you pump gas, you want to sanitize. Well, my dumb ass gets out. I pump gas. I fill my truck up. I get back in my truck. I take the 151. I put it on my hands. I rub it around. I grab a fucking cigarette and I light it up. Both hands on fire instantly. Lady across the pump from me looks. Her eyes got as big around as fucking coffee dish saucers. Hey, Unc was, well, howdy. It was something else. It scared the shit out of me there for a second. And then once I got the fire put out, I was like, boy, you sure are a dumb motherfucker. But then again, I learned from my mistakes. I never did that twice. But yeah, I fucked up.
Halftime show, and they didn't think that they were going to do that. Like I said, they're kind of, a lot of them were fans of Bad Bunny, and they were certain it was not going to rival that performance. Like I said, songs being played, performances 3 to 5 times so that they could further direct audiences, which they did, to fist pump and get excited. They told me they were very tired because these were 12-hour days. They were compensated $250 stipend for that. They ran out of food. On the first day, the food that was provided for them was Mediterranean food, which is just objectively hilarious for an all-American halftime show. And the second day, they gave them tacos. So I think Mexico won. There was a holding room in between the takes, and they felt that there was no communication of why they were waiting for hours. Sometimes there were technical problems. They also had the performers themselves were late, and they were not told why. They were just kind of in this holding space, except for Gabby Barrett. They said that she was early and she only needed to do her song twice. So she was the strong exception. They waited the longest for Kid Rock. I don't think that's that surprising. And that the person who was producing this, some guy named Matt, was trying to get them hyped by saying, there's a little birdie that told us that Trump is going to be watching our halftime show. Like, you know, you got to keep the slaves from revolting energy. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. And obviously, he also said to them that this is going to get more views than the Bad Bunny halftime show. And it's just objectively hilarious when you consider that Trump didn't even watch it. Because remember, this actually broke. It's this picture of Trump, and the Bad Bunny halftime show is in the background. He's at Mar-a-Lago. So I don't know who the little birdie was. Well, that's not true. Turning Point did cover their hotel rooms, but they were placed with a random person.
I didn't even watch the Super Bowl.
And yeah, they were told, we need you to match Kid Rock's energy. They signed an NDA, but that NDA expired 1 hour after the show. So that's your fake halftime performance. And I'm just telling you what reality is, just so you understand what money can do. It's unbelievable. Again, no shot at the artists that were involved. I like, especially, like I said, I like Lee Bryce's music. I listen to his music out of all of them. And it sounds like Gabby was an extreme professional, but it is what I'm commenting on here. It's just really a commentary of watching conservatives do what Hillary Clinton did and just pretending and thinking that you can just fake it till you make it if you've got billions. And that's not how it works. So let's take a brief break and we'll get back with some of your comments.
Caesar Milan, how to add years to your dog's life. Sardines.
9.
Bone broth.
I'll tell you how to add years to my dog's life. Keep that motherfucker out of my trash can. That's how you add years to my dog's life.
10.
Raw eggs blended with the shell.
Keep that dumb motherfucker out the highway.
All right, you guys, this podcast is sponsored by Active Skin Repair, a skin health brand that helps clean. They can be used from the youngest member of the family to the oldest. You now have Picturegate.
Oh,
who put that picture away? That's what they want to know. So Charlie's.
Let's go to our last live. I know we watched some of it this morning. We didn't watch all.
Somebody, if they have to, right? But hindsight is 20/20, as we always say. And Jillian today is now 27 years old, and she fully appreciates how absolutely weird this was and how absolutely weird it is. And she's going back and she is wondering, what exactly was this all about?
Just for context,
what exactly was
talking about
Erika
Kirk,
harnessing her
She was like 15 years
teenage
old.
emotion for? Why is she continually telling her that she's beautiful, that she has perfect lips? Why is this 25-year-old who's not even from Michigan interested in this dialogue with her? And something she points out is, I was with my friend when I met her, but she never had this relationship with Cheyenne. Cheyenne is mentioned elsewhere in that video. Why was it particularly Jillian that she was interested in? And curiously, get this, she tells me that she and Erika actually never hung out in person beyond that first meeting. So this was purely meant to be a platonic relationship where Erika said stuff even like this to her on Instagram. Jillian, that dime piece beside the car, though, she's referring to Jillian, just so we're clear, she's referring to Jillian beside a car as a dime piece. Again, if this was two 15-year-olds speaking to each other, I'd be like, that's totally fine. I actually tend to agree with Nicey's assessment elsewhere in the video. Just put in your mind, this is a 25-year-old man referring to a 15-year-old girl. What would happen?
Somebody be
What
in
would you
jail.
be thinking? And again, Erika did not actually hang out with her beyond that. So what exactly was her stated goal? Well, I can at least tell you what that last weird text exchange was about, the one where Erika tells her not to drink and to suck her stomach in tonight, wherever they're going tonight. People assumed that they had gone somewhere together, but no, that exchange is actually in reference to Erika then having sent this 15-year-old to have photos taken. Insane. She sent this 15-year-old to have photos taken. She's helping her because she's just so beautiful, get into maybe some modeling. That's at least how she presented it to her. So after telling her how beautiful and perfect her lips were, she then sets her up with a photographer, a friend of Erika's. Erika, she says, arranged the entire thing. This person she had only met once, then after
Grizz, it's funny you
love
say
bombing
that.
her, we describe it, then sends her to meet up with this male photographer. And Jillian said that this photographer was kind of creepy. She's trying to remember his name. She says she remembers it began with an R and he was kind of shorter, chubbier. And yeah, I'd say, yeah, Jillian, that's pretty creepy. Any photographer who is taking photos of a 15-year-old without their parents' consent is a creep. Find me this. I am looking to find and discover who this person was. And I would also similarly say that any person who is arranging for photographs to be taken of a 15-year-old girl without explicit permission from that person's mother is a total creep. So Erika, having done this, is completely and utterly creepy. It's creepy. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I will not allow people to say that it makes sense in some contexts.
Yeah,
Like, it
some
just
of the
doesn't make
shit
any
that
sense. I
you
asked,
said to that child was out of line. Some of it definitely was out of line.
did she speak to your mother? She said, no, she never spoke to my mother. This was happening on the phone. Her mom's probably thinking she's just on Instagram speaking to whoever, and she's not even considering that this is happening. So what does all of this sound like? It sounds to me like every parent's worst nightmare. Your kid has a phone, they get social media accounts, they're making friends over the internet.
Hey, Deb, it does that to me all the time. I don't know why, but it does.
Next thing you know, you find out that there's a man.
Because I don't have like no words blocked out. Like in some, if you can go in your chat and you can block specific words that you don't want said. I don't have anything blocked.
Night, if Erika's message is to be believed, who's taking photos of
Right,
them.
let me see where our timestamp is. 1738.
Are you
I'll
looking
go
to
back and find
sell
it.
your house as is without the hassle of
We watched
costly repairs?
some of it earlier today. Let me go back.
This tweet. Getting this in the mail from Erika Fransvi. And in the photo is a red box of chocolate covered strawberries and other chocolate desserts.
keep
And
in
the
mind,
card in the
she's sending this
photo
to a
says this.
15-year-old
Happy sweet
girl.
16, beautiful girl. Keep strong in faith and know that you're loved. But most of all, never forget that you are perfect and amazing just the way you are. I am so proud of you. Today is the first day of another 365-day journey around the sun. Enjoy the trip, boo. Love you, E. On June 7, 2014, Jillian shared this tweet. This has to be the most heartfelt compliment I've ever gotten. And she attached a screenshot of her conversation with Erika. So Jillian says, thank you. Erika says, you have the most stunning features. Jillian says, best compliment ever. Erika says, your eyes, your lips, your skin, you're absolutely beautiful. Jillian responds with the crying emoji, you're making me cry. In February of 2014, Jillian went on a family trip to Puerto Rico and Erika was liking and commenting on her Instagram posts. So Jillian posted this photo of the beach and Erika says, unreal gorgeous. And then Jillian responds, this is by far my favorite picture I took. My mom wants to get it blown up at Erika Fransvi. Erika responds, I could see why, boo. Jillian responds, so perfect at Erika Fransvi. Erika then responds, ... yes, I know you are.
Hold on, it gets worse than that, though.
I'm just going to follow that with a little bit of silence. I just want us to all contemplate it. Let's actually contemplate it for the people who are going to try to explain it, the Erika splainers, who are going to be like, that's not weird. No. What? Never been a 25-year-old sending chocolate-covered strawberries to a 15-year-old? That's not weird. You guys are haters. No, what? Oh, come on. Never as a 25-year-old decided to message a 15-year-old about their lips and their skin and how perfect they are. You never decided to message them when they posted a photo of them with a person that's their age and said, no new friends. Almost like territorial, like or that's obviously all just a joke or something like that. By the way, just in general, going back to how they met, I'm trying to rationalize in my head, under what scenario, if a 15-year-old, if you open the door and a 15-year-old was trying to rationalize it, maybe if they were with their parent and they were like.
They're trying to block right now what you say and what you don't say as far as First Amendment, like jailable offenses and shit. It's fucking crazy. They're blaming what's going on right now as far as like these riots and stuff like that, with people pushing it rhetoric on fucking YouTube or on the internet. And it's like, hold on now. So you're going to take people's ability to be able to even discuss this away from them because you think that it's against the First Amendment or something, I guess. I don't know. But Like, ain't that the freedom of speech?
Like the parents were like, he was looking
That's
for a
not
job.
slander.
Like, I don't know if you
You know
need
what I'm
like a
saying? If you're telling the
babysitter.
truth, how in the hell can
You guys
they
want to go to dinner
deny
for a
you
couple of
that?
hours, sort of a
Kinda
thing,
crazy.
maybe. But I'd probably take the parents' number. Yeah, I would definitely take the parents' number. I actually can't rationalize that. So I'm throwing that out because sometimes people in the chat can be more creative than me. And they can say, oh, no, it's totally normal to exchange numbers with the 15-year-olds and then kind of have this relationship with them. Where you're commenting and saying, making lesbian jokes. I don't, swing for the next team yet. Is that appropriate
Yeah, that's
to
what
say
she
to a
said.
15-year-old
I
when you're
thought that
25?
was kind of weird where she made the lesbian comment. I guess maybe I didn't go back that far. I don't bat for the other team yet. Yeah, right there it is. Now, why would Erika Kirk be sending that to you're sexy too? Like what? Why are you sending that to a 15-year-old kid? You don't tell 15-year-olds that they're sexy.
Laughing emoji. You always make me laugh. I don't bat for the other team just yet. On March 13th, 2014, Jillian shared another screenshot of her text messages with Erika. Erika says, I forgot to
It's
tell
not a
you,
conspiracy.
hydrate tonight. No alcohol and don't eat a lot of salty foods. You don't want to look bloated. Jillian then responds, thank you. Erika says, no alcohol. Really, Erika? Age recognition, you twat waffle. Apparently, I haven't had my coffee yet. What the hell, Erika? Laughing emoji. Well, on that bite, ... Note, damn you, Siri. Come on, hashtag the struggle. What are you trying to say, laughing emoji? Spit it out, you twat waffle. On the morning of March 26, 2014, Jillian tweeted, I just want to be somebody's woman crush Wednesday. Is that too much to ask? That evening, she then tweets, thank you at Erika Franzvi for making my whole week. And she shares this photo. And the photo is of a gnome, and it says, I want to be inside your lady garden. Know what I'm saying? On April 3rd, 2014, Jillian tweeted this picture and said, I miss this goon. A few minutes later, she tweeted, did Erika just text me hashtag no new friends? Oh my fucking God, I can't. A few days later, on April 5th, 2014, Jillian posted this tweet, getting this in the mail from Erika Franzvi. And in the photo is a red box of chocolate-covered strawberries and other chocolate desserts. And the card in the photo says this, happy sweet 16, beautiful girl.
Yeah,
Keep strong
that's.
in faith and know that you're loved. But most
I got you. It's just not good though, bro. That's not good. When you're talking sexual to a child, I don't care. You know what I mean? To me, that would piss me off.
Who's taking photos of them? So I'll ask the question, the obvious question here. How much smoke before we are allowed to confirm that it seems there may be a fire? Because everything in Erika Kirk's story, which we will more thoroughly present to you in the weeks to come, has proximity to child trafficking scandals and proximity
And to be
to
honest
charities
with you, I said the
involvement
same thing
with charity.
in the very beginning. And when I first heard it, I was like, well, maybe she's just trying to help her with modeling and stuff. Because Erika was a damn former pageant winner. But when you start talking sexual to a child, you kind of blur the lines of helping her in modeling and trying to boost her confidence. And when you start saying you don't bat for the other team yet, and that's just kind of weird, man.
That had trafficking scandals and abuse scandals.
If that was a
sometimes literal
25-year-old
proximity,
man
by the way,
saying
like
that, y'all would
I
want to
think I've
hang him.
mentioned this. Turning Point USA's headquarters, incredibly, maybe I haven't mentioned it. They're almost directly across the street from the #1 human and child sex trafficking location in Arizona, a place called Arizona Mills. If you're in Arizona, everyone goes, oh yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, everybody knows about Arizona Mills. Who picked this location for a student activist organization? Who was the real estate agent on that deal? I feel like when a good real estate agent comes around, you're like, oh, is this a good spot? And they'd say, you know what? You don't want to be close to Arizona Mills. It's not a great spot for a student activist organization. Was Erika the real estate agent? And actually, I do know who handpicked it. I was around for that. It was Tyler Boyer. He's like a proud 5th generation, I think he says, Arizonan. He grew up in its backyard, right, Chandler, Gilbert area. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that he was familiar with the reputation of Arizona Mills. Tracy Martin, Erika's best friend, she's also has been involved in charity work for trafficking victims via Dream City Church, which we mentioned to you. And that actually makes sense because Dream City Church runs Phoenix Dream Center. Phoenix Dream Center, according to their website, is a center that provides residential rehabilitation, shelter, and care for victims of human trafficking. Wow, everyone is so amazing. So amazing. They just can't get enough of trying to help these trafficking victims. It says that they provide affordable housing for men and women that are in transition after having been trafficked. They give them food, they give them clothing. Nothing to see there because it's a charity. You can't question a charity. Turning Point USA is a charity. You can't question a charity. Stacey Sheridan, who has been playing the role of Erika Kirk's mother, we recently discovered worked under Jeffrey Epstein's friend, Kenneth Starr, at Pepperdine University. By the way, I can't find a trace of her actually at Pepperdine University, aside from her resume where she says she worked there for 8 years, but in Kenneth Starr's office. But the point is that for almost a decade, she worked.
Now, playing the devil's advocate, if they put that place right there where the child trafficking is, maybe they're trying to combat it. You know what I mean? By putting that place there for people to have a place to go or maybe find help or something like that. I don't think that they were into that, but who knows? You never know.
Worked for Kenneth Starr at the exact same time that he was working with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, no, definitely. She definitely.
Stacey Sheridan is not Erika's real mom. Lori is Erika's real mother. We had mentioned to you this desert spirits tech company.
Sometimes you got to hear it.
Lori was running a Native American reservation, and boy, were we hit with a lot of emails about, you guessed it, high-icked off of that specific reservation where the office is not located because somebody went and they said this address does not exist. But all of that, by the way, we'll get into in the weeks to come. In the short term, we can confirm that this just must be all one unfortunate coincidence, right? All of it. You are a monster, by the way, for even noticing this. For even noticing this theme. You are a monster for wondering if Charlie also began to notice this theme in the end, because what exactly happened the night before he died? Why was Erika being so weird but providing a sensible alibi for her whereabouts on September? Believes they did see her at Fort Huachuca. Speaking of September 8th, by the way, it's also an important date to flag.
Y'all getting in trouble.
It's a little weird, but it's a fact that Erika chose that date in particular to break her years-long Twitter silence. Did you know this?
What's
Erika
up, Joe?
had not authored a tweet since 2023. Right? She had retweeted a couple of things. Who knows if somebody did it for her? 8 hours before Charlie's death on September 8th at 10:49 a.m. Arizona time, she decides to break that silence with this tweet, scripture. Ephesians 2:8. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of work, so that no one may boast. Okay?
September 8th. This is our first post back to social media in a while.
And suddenly she then was on a roll. She then tweeted again on September 9th, 9:44 a.m. local time. She tweeted, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that takes refuge in him. And then again, on the day that Charlie is assassinated at 9:45 a.m., Erika tweets, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. People ran like, wow, I can't believe this. This godly woman happened to have tweeted this right before her husband got assassinated. Like I said, you're a monster for noticing. If you're thinking that like, no, she just really did suddenly want to break her Twitter silence. Yeah, and she's very, as we can see, she is committed to the Lord. Every sentence that comes out is about God. So how could you question it, right? Anyway, before we go off air for next week, I want to be thorough and again put out an APB for certain information. So a couple of things before we get into what we're looking for at more tips at CandaceOwens.com. The reason Jillian is speaking to me is because she's asking people to stop messaging her. She doesn't want all these people messaging her. She's like, I'm already in communication with you. We're trying to figure things out. We're trying to figure out who this photographer was that took photographs of her. We're on it. We're on the case. So you guys don't no longer have to slide in her DMs or hunt her down. I am fully on this, and we'll have more information for you, I suspect, in the coming week. And now, pertaining to what we're looking for, please email moretips@candaceowens.com. Again, guys, we're a very small team, so I appreciate the emails about, have you seen this? Have you watched that? I would just, please don't send those. Like, just tag us on TikTok, tag us in something that you want us to see. Do not clutter our inbox with, please watch this, or random things. We really want to use this to get information or answers to questions that we're asking on this show. And here are the questions that we are still looking for answers to. 1, who was it that Erika knew that was at the Batman Colorado mass shooting? That theater, remember, that happened when the Batman movie came out in Colorado. Erika tweeted and said that she knew somebody that was in that theater. Does anybody know who that is? Has anybody heard any more? Is there an interview out there where she discusses that further? I would like to know more about that information. Secondly, does anybody know or remember Erika Franzwey from Ohio? In doing her biography, it's almost as though she suddenly just appears in her high school years in Arizona. The backstory is that she's from Ohio until she gets into high school. Who attended middle school with Erika in Ohio? If that's you, we want to hear from you. More tips at CandaceOwens.com. Did you attend elementary school with Erika? If that's you, we would like to hear from you. You guys in Cincinnati, Ohio, please check your yearbooks.
It ain't going to, though.
Maybe you didn't know that it was
It
her.
ain't going
It's a long time ago. Please email us.
People want to know.
Also, does anybody remember her?
And people had a right to know.
At people who went in that same year as her say, I don't remember her. We have not had a single person that has come out and said they remember her, despite the fact that she is mentioned in a program. I'm looking for somebody who says, yeah, I took a class with her. She was a full adult by then. You would remember this. Oh, I went out with her for something. I don't know. If you attended school with her at Loyola Marymount, we would like to hear from you. And again, we will ask for more information just to dot our I's and to cross our T's, even though I think we have the information we need. If you have any information pertaining to Erika Kirk's whereabouts on September 8th, when she broke her Twitter silence, the 9th, or on the 10th, when Charlie was assassinated, because the story goes, Turning Point employees were told that she got the news when she was with her mom, and then she drove herself back home. Thus far, nobody where they live remembers seeing Erika, but she apparently met Stacey Sheridan and a couple other people, and then they went to the airport together.
Listen.
So it's a pretty big assassination. The entire world would have been looking out for her in that moment, especially people who knew who Charlie Kirk was. These neighbors said they knew him, they knew his wife, they knew his kids. And thus far, nobody remembers seeing Erika Kirk on the 10th. Maybe you work at the airport and you saw her board. That would make sense. Yes, I happened to work at the terminal and I saw them all run in looking frantic in Scottsdale. I would like to try to confirm that story on September 10th. Anyway, we will pause there and we will be right back after the break. All right, you guys, Nimi Skincare is the only skincare brand that I have actually stayed consistent with. It's what I use. It's what I trust. And okay, you guys. So for another item that we can tell you, I'm very quick at puzzles. I don't have a ton of strengths in other areas. I would say geography is not my greatest strength, but putting together puzzles and recognizing anomalies. Always been very good at, and I right away said that way too many dudes are wearing maroon shirts, and common sense, if you're going to organize any military operation, which I believe September 10th was obviously a military operation, to those of us who are sensible, you're going to need to know who your guys are. So yeah, you're going to have certain people wearing certain colors, certain hats, and they were like, this is crazy. No, this many men really like maroon. And I was like, I feel like there's a color of the day here, and everyone who's wearing maroon is involved. Well, guess what? The Epstein docs dropped, and there was a mention of military colors of the day. A TikToker went viral discussing it. Take a listen.
If you don't know, during the Charlie Kirk assassination, there was a significant number of young men wearing maroon shirts. Originally, Candace Owens was the first person to point this out, and everybody called her crazy. However, I found proof that she was right. So after she made this claim, a lot of people called her crazy, but then there was also a good amount of people from the military that were saying that's absolutely a thing that the military does during secret operations in public areas. They choose a color of the day. So I started thinking, right? I was like, what if I searched in the DOJ files the term color of the day? And what do you know? I find 40 results of different FBI briefings talking about a color of the day. And every single one is unredacted. You can see what the color of the day was for that day for whatever military operation was going on. Now, most of the details for the military operation is redacted. However, on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, the morning of, before his death, they established a color of the day for a sit rep, which is just a military situation report. And the color of the day is redacted. Out of 40 different files mentioning a color of the day for secret operations, the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination is the only one that has a color of the day redacted.
Wow. But it's horse shit. It's all horse shit. Fucking commercials are horse shit. I'll tell you that.
Like I said, I'm just out here doing common sense. I noticed also, by the way, it wasn't just maroon. I felt like they were organizing by battalion. Some people were all like wearing white hats. Some people were wearing their socks in a certain way where I was like, never seen this many people wear their socks this high before. And if I'm a person who likes to organize her pantry, my pantry in my kitchen is a high point for me. Every day I go in there, it's so organized. I organize my seasonings. Okay. I had to buy a label, like a label maker, so I could organize my seasonings. Okay. For those of us who are that.
Hey, Carl's got a label maker too. It says, do not drink this. I've got herpes. My name is Carl Smith.
In the weeds on organization, thinking about how you might organize a military operation, that seemed pretty obvious. I just recognize organization, even when it's supposed to look like chaos, it's got to be organized. And that's what was going down on that day. And I have a folder of I like call them like the white hats, so this and that was happening on that day. Very obvious. Now, who knows? He said he's going through the DOJ files. Who knows if that particular reference was pertaining, it could be pertaining to any number of military operations on the 10th, and they could be covering it because there was maybe another FBI operation and military operation that was taking place, I don't know, in Canada or overseas, whatever it is.
I know this ain't got nothing to do with this particular case, but so everybody remembers when Biggie Smalls got shot, right? And his buddy, it was in the back seat. I can't remember his name, but the FBI comes to him and they're showing him a bunch of pictures. And he's like, how'd y'all get these? And he says it in the thing, y'all motherfucker now. And nobody did nothing. They just let it happen. But if you remember back in the reason that I bring this up is because back in that time, what the hell was that guy's name? He was going after all the rappers. He was trying to be president at the time. Dan Quayle was going after all of them. And I really do wonder if that ain't what happened.
And people might notice that a lot of people wore green. And so maybe that's the reason they're blocking it out. I don't know. What I do know is maroon, the Maroon Boys were somehow involved. That seemed pretty obvious to me, that there was some coordination happening. Also, they were all alone, which was weird. Like, also, whoever wore maroon wanted to go to this event alone. They had no homies with them. So, yeah, anyways, moving on. After yesterday's episode regarding Photogate, Turning Point issued a statement about how the wedding photo, which was curiously there when Charlie was hosting his last show and then was suddenly removed when Erika was speaking to Glenn Beck in December, they obviously were they're always panicked and then they issue a dumb statement. That's kind of their move. They never take a deep breath and think about whether what they're going to say makes any sense. And the issue was Erika was like, this is my first time. And she's on Glenn Beck. The exact sentence I think she says is, I haven't been here in forever. Sorry if I keep looking down. This is a note that he wrote. Okay, how long is forever? Obviously, I've not even seen this desk. Anyway, to account for the now missing photo, they went to Newsweek. I think the editor at large is Josh Hammer. They just can't help themselves. They just want to look guilty in everything that they do. This is what they told. This is what they told Newsweek. A post has gone viral online that appeared to show Erika Kirk having moved or removed a photograph of her and Charlie Kirk at their wedding. Well, a Turning Point USA spokesperson told Newsweek Erika moved it to a lower shelf when her daughter asked to see it so that she could hold and look at the photo. It's still on the studio shelf. It's just lower down where her daughter can look at it whenever she's in there with her mom. Aw.
These damn commercials. What's up with these damn commercials, y'all? They pick the wrong damn time, don't they?
Aw. There's just always so much obvious emotional manipulation. I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like they should have went with the Andrew Colvett went rogue excuse. I think it's stronger. I like that. It's my favorite one. I said to go with Andrew Colvett went rogue. I love him being rogue. It's more believable. Because I'm feeling now like I got to start like justice for Gigi. They keep dragging this poor toddler into every possible alibi regarding Erika Kirk. And I'm just not going to stand for this much longer. Okay. We're out here treating Gigi like Puerto Rican moms treat their daughters. Okay. Latinos, you know what I'm talking about. Their sons can do no wrong. Mi rey. The daughters, they do a lot of wrong. That's how I'm feeling like Gigi's getting some treatment here, but I'm not
What's
cool.
up,
She's
Josh?
always in the alibi. Remember, Gigi kicked Charlie out of the bed the night before because she was doing gymnastics. Gigi wanted to move that photo to eye level, so they had to move it. Gigi wanted to go for a walk, so Erika couldn't have been at some fort in Huachuca because she was with Gigi. Leave Gigi alone. Obviously, that did not happen because it makes no sense to bring a photo to ground level in a studio that is not occupied by the toddler. Is this her first time seeing the photo? If she wanted the photo, if she was like, I want to hug the photo, you would just give it to her. You would just allow her to take it. This is your home studio. You would say, yeah, take it out of the office because it's no longer serving us. It's not in the background. Take it out of the office and put it in your room. You can have it. It's not serving anyone. It's supposed to be design. Why would, that's my granddad behind me. That's a photo of my granddad. Why would, if Lulu, who is 3, came in here and was like, I want that photo, why would I be like, okay, puts it on the floor where my daughter should not be because it's a studio. This is not a playroom. Stop. Please just stop. I want Turning Point USA to, for once in their lives, do the right thing and pay me a monthly retainer to consult them on PR. Just say no. Nope. No. Nope. Because I would have said to them, I said, look, here's what you're going to do. Blame the housekeepers. Blame the unknown housekeepers. You're rich. You've got money. A lot of money. We're talking billions from Pierre type money. Just blame the housekeeper, Erika. What? We didn't even notice that. We just had someone in to clean. I am going to fire the housekeeper. That's what I would have done. But nope, nobody pays me. Nobody pays me the big bucks. And even though they are lying about Gigi, we can now debunk my earlier suspicion that Charlie himself moved the photo because he did not. It is likely that he could not have moved the photo himself. And the reason that they're lying is because they want to protect a person that is truly amazing. A person who is so terrific, who is so spectacular that we dare not even say his name without an adjective. He is he who must not be named without an adjective. You know who I'm referring to. Because oddly, despite the fact that this is Charlie's home studio, in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination, before Erika got in there, Mikey began doing media hits from it. What's he doing at the house? Nobody knows. What does he do for Charlie? Nobody knows. How did he become chief of staff? Nobody knows. So, anyway, one of our mommy sleuths did find Mikey McCoy, the amazing, the marvelous Mikey, on November 8th, giving an interview to Real America's Voice. And you can see in the corner, there is no photo. Okay. There's no photo. So it was already moved. So if Erika was really seeing the notes on his desk for the first time in December because she hadn't been in the office in quote unquote forever, as she told Glenn Beck, the marvelous McCoy could then on top of that, and here's where we get to debunk the idea that Charlie moved the photo. They were hard launching Mikey. Remember, I told you that Mikey was like slated to take over for Charlie, and they were doing it very hard and very quickly after Charlie's assassination. So hard and so quickly that another sleuth found him on September 22nd, seated in Charlie's chair at home. Now, this is just 11 days after Charlie's assassination. And it also happens to be the same date Erika was on that Zoom call telling the employees to button it up, get back to work. There's merch sales, there's hat sales. It's what Charlie would want. Charlie is dancing in heaven, but only if you want Charlie to dance in heaven. When she was given that whole sermon on that exact day, Mikey, the Amazing, shared a similar
wrong it would feel if I let another woman sit in Amanda's space in her home. You've got to be kidding me. I mean, am I the only one that feels that way?
You can see just at the end of that, this little
There's
screenshot
no way.
that
There's
Mikey,
no
you see the
way.
photos in the background. So I think Mikey got ahead of himself. Mikey the Amazing. Mikey the Marvelous got a little ahead of himself, and it was like messed
no way.
his vibe, and he moved it. That's probably what happened. He's like, I can't really vibe out with Charlie's, and he probably even put up his own photo, and they said, nah, too hard, too aggressive, too soon. Anyway, we're only interested. There are so many red flags in the story. We don't need to pursue ones that potentially are not. And yeah, Mikey, I'm starting to like him, I think. I've been saying when you start using adjectives to describe someone, the psyop works. I don't let anybody say anything bad about Mikey, the Amazing, Mikey the Wonderful, Mikey the Spectacular. I stand the Amazing Mikey McCoy. The question now is whether or not they're going to keep gaslighting us and lying to us about Charlie and Erika. I still feel very strongly they had a fight on the 9th. And also, I feel strongly that they probably will keep gaslighting us, at least if the Epstein file situation is any indication, because we have been so aggressively gaslit over the last 6 months, traumatizing the manner in which our government just routinely
I wonder how deep
to us actually is.
She's digging into them Epstein files. I just wonder how far she's going to go. That's going to be her next pivot. You watch and see.
Regarding the Epstein files, we should probably... It's so bad that Republicans are sharing Democratic tips. It's actually kind of bringing us together because I think we all just hate the elites so much. And the quote unquote elites, really the occult and ball worshippers. And I'm clearly, Kirk can lie to us about it, but this Democratic representative, Jared Maskowitz, did a really good job recapping exactly what the Trump administration put us through with the Epstein files, gaslighting his own supporters after insisting that day one, they were going to give us access. They were going to tell us the truth. They were going to be the most.
That's too fast, man. Because all that does is tell me that you had no respect for the one person that you swore vows to respect. Some people don't see it that way, but I do. I damn sure do. If something happened to my man, I'll never get married again. I wouldn't even look at another woman. I just wouldn't. It wouldn't be right. I wouldn't feel like I would be doing her injustice.
Most transparent administration ever, holding up the binders. Take it away, Jared Moskowitz.
Very, very much agree, bro. And it's fucking sad. These damn commercials. That's how greedy these people are. They play a commercial every 20 damn seconds. For some reason, I have trouble playing the commercial. I'm glad. must be another commercial.
It's been 12 months since you gave Republican influencers part one of the Epstein files. You said the list was on your desk. Then a memo came out and said that there was no list. Phase 2 of the binders never happened. The President of the United States says the Epstein thing is a hoax. He blasts his own base for wanting the release of the files. He blamed Barack Obama. Republicans voted against the release of the files in the Rules Committee. Then they refused to even return to the Rules Committee until they could be protected from future votes on the release. Speaker Johnson sends Congress home a day early before break. They sent the Deputy Attorney General to meet with Maxwell. She says something favorable about the president. Miraculously, she gets transferred to a minimum security facility. No one can explain why. Miraculously, the leaks to the Wall Street Journal stop. We come back from break. We have the Massey discharge petition. Republicans drop a rule, a non-binding resolution trying to kill the Massey discharge petition. The White House says passing the Massey discharge petition is a hostile act. Trying to stop the necessary 218 signatures, according to Republican members that signed it, the White House brought them into the Situation Room, you know, the place where the president goes for time of war, promising things like appropriations or maybe even to primary them. People in the room say you were there. It didn't work. We get the 218 signatures. We eventually passed the Massey petition. You guys didn't release the files. You were forced by Congress, every member of the House except one, and the entire Senate. The reason the president signed it is because it was a veto-proof majority. We can't agree on anything, and yet the entire House but one member and the whole Senate forced the administration to release the files. Kash Patel under oath said to Senator Kennedy, the FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. We know now that's not true. According to documents, Epstein had a worldwide sex trafficking ring. Girls from Poland, Czechoslovakia, Russia, Paris, modeling agencies sending him girls. He even had a relationship with a summer camp where he groomed girls at a picnic table. Ghislaine Maxwell says 29 Epstein associates cut secret DOJ deals. Turns out there is a list. 6 names readily available if you unredact them. Co-conspirators named, but we got them when you unredact them. Maxwell recently tells a House Oversight Committee that she wants clemency to release more names. Kash Patel under oath said Trump's name appears less than 100 times in the files. We now know that's not true. Trump's name appears more times in the Epstein files than God's name appears in the book about God. Okay, by the way, this is the Trump Bible. Move over, King James. Trump's name also appears more times in the Epstein file than Harry Potter's name appears in the 7 books about Harry Potter. Lutnick says that in 2008, he went to Epstein's home, says he had a massage table in the living room, that Epstein said he got one every day, that it was the right type of massage. He and his wife decided to leave and said they'll never be in a room with him again. Howard then says, I'm sure the Epstein stuff is all on video. He was the greatest blackmailer of all time. Well, how would Howard know that? But now the files are public. And in 2012, we found out that he and his family are on Epstein Island after Epstein pled guilty to state charges. I'm from Florida. I take my family to Disney World, not to Epstein Island. There are documents in the files that dispute the president's claim that he kicked Epstein out of his club. Allegedly, the president said that he asked Epstein to leave. Supported now, that's disputed though, statements from the manager of the club. Now, Madam Attorney General, I have like 25 seconds left. So because I'm curious, and I'd like to see, flip to the Jared Moskowitz section of the binder. I'm interested to see what staff provided on the oppo on me. And because we're in the Olympics, I'm gonna give it a grade. I just wanna see how good it is. So give me your best one.
So first of all, nothing is funny about mocking the Bible and holding up a Trump Bible. That's what you did.
That's the best. That's on it from the Bernberg, which is the best one. What you got?
That's all she had to say to him. Shame, shame, shame on you for telling the truth about what we have put the public through, what we have put our supporters through, the people that believed in us, who wanted to get to the answers, who, you know, they took us to this line because we wanted to see how power works. And instead, we're protecting people that are in the files. Howard Lutnick's practically running Trump's administration, Bibi Netanyahu and Howard Lutnick's all over the world with Jared Kushner. He's just been protecting his homies, and she's got shame on you because you didn't actually, he did not mock the Bible in any way. That's what she's got. I guess she thought this was going to work. And I actually appreciate this response.
Yeah, she wasn't a very good talker, was she?
Her perspective on it, because I think it's honest. I appreciate it because it's honest. Take a listen.
They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. I mean, you're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000.
Yeah,
and the
hey,
NASDAQ
going crazy. It's almost like they thought they'd never get away with it, right? They like to see other people tortured and in pain and shit. It's bro, if you'd have told me this 20 years ago, I'd go, come on, man. You crazy. You know what I mean? Now you look at it like, what the fuck is really going on out there? We've never been safe, homie.
Smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings
And they
are
slaughtered
booming.
weak, homie.
That's
for
what
sure.
we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
It's simply amazing. It's as amazing as Mikey McCoy.
Just the wrong timing to spit that shit out. These fucking commercials or something else. They've got these commercials loaded the fuck up. Evidently, my internet's so weak. My young's probably playing his game out there, so it's taking a second to bring it back. All right, enough of that shit, then. Enough of that. So, I guess I'm going to shut it down for tonight. That's longer than what I had planned to go about, but how about some action instead of acting from our government? Yeah. I'm afraid, bro, that this shit's going to move so slow because people want to see action right now. They don't want to wait for justice to turn out. They want vigilante justice. And I don't blame them, but I kind of understand why Trump's reacting the way he is, because he doesn't want this to be a scar on, which is fucked up, you know. I mean, I guess maybe I don't understand it, but I kind of do, I guess, maybe. I kind of stuck in the middle. But they could have been done something about this shit, and they chose not to deal with it. And then now that it's in Trump's lap, and he's trying to do, you know, some of these things with like Greenland and all that, they're trying to stop him, and they're using them as a tool, and it kind of makes me sick that people can't see that shit, because people don't see it, and people are not wrong for wanting these people to pay. I don't know if it'll fucking bring down the you know, economy or not, but they're trying to claim that it will. I know times will get rough, and I don't want the American people to fucking pay for some shit that these rich elites did, because ultimately shit rolls downhill. And a lot of people don't understand that. These people in the Senate and all that shit, they're going to be just fine regardless. Say Israel is running the shit. I believe that too, man. I believe that too. Like I said earlier, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with sending them all this fucking money. Oh, yeah, most definitely. And as far as public opinion, the Republicans are losing. And that's what they wanted. They knew the timing of it, right? And that's why he was trying to avoid this shit. Because he's afraid of being impeached. And here's the thing. If the Democrats gain control, you might as well not never vote again. Because they've got it so rigged that Republicans will never, ever get back in there. Yeah, I'm fixing to get off of here too, man. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. We will holler at y'all later. Peace. Y'all have a good night. Try to anyway. Don't let this shit bother you too bad. Later.